Hey, good evening, great evening, everyone. My name's Nicole Bose. If this is the first time that you have checked me out, I am a success coach. I am a mother to three amazing young gentlemen. I'm an entrepreneur, an HR professional, a travel lover, and quite honestly, everything in between. So thank you for spending some time this evening. You know what? We wanted to level up our business this July. And so the last few weeks, we have been focusing on some amazing guest speakers for you. Listen, I know you're out there, and I have heard some of the comments, especially from my moms out there that are saying, listen, I'm lacking in some confidence skills, and I have just heard your need to learn more about confidence, how you can improve it, and all of that. And so we wanted to bring you an amazing guest today. Okay. So today I have Miss Julie DeLucca-Collins with me. She is just an amazing individual. And she is going to talk to us all about all things confidence. Okay. And so I just want to read a little bit about Julie because she's got some an amazing pedigree that she brings with her. So she has 110% of the knowledge that you need to know about confidence. She enjoys everything that she does, and she is recognized, for the amazing work that she has done. And she's just got a heart of gold. So Julie is a dreamer. She is a traveler. She's a visionary and adventurer, a risk taker, a loving wife, daughter, best auntie ever. I too am an auntie. I love it. And a doggy mama. I too am a doggy mama. So Julie is a lover of books, an activist, a philanthropist, and most of all, a supporter of women and their dreams. So you can see how Julie and I got connected because I too have a passion for that. Julie's been a successful executive for 20 plus years, and her latest role was that of Chief Innovative Executive for an education company out of NYC. So next, Julie started working as a life coach with a life coach 10 years ago, and she absolutely loved the benefits and how it helped her project and really propel her life to where she wanted it to be. And so then she spent the next little bit, just really refining her goal. And she knew that she really wanted to be able to help others reimagine their lives. And her goal is now to help others do that through her extensive experience with leadership skills and now life coaching as well. She also has helped people find success in various parts of their lives with her clients. Her individualized positivity, how about that? I'm going to change that word.
Yep.
Helps identify and attain, her clients' goals. She is just amazing. She's certified as a cognitive behavioral techniques and holistic coaching certification. She's a social emotional learning facilitator, and she has earned her 200-hour yoga teacher certification. Julie has been honored with the 25 Most Powerful Minority Women in Business Award by the Minority Enterprise Executive Council out of Washington, D.C. Man, that is some pedigree. I am so proud to welcome you to the stage, right? Thank you so much for joining us today, Julie, for this conversation. I'm so glad to have you.
Nicole, thank you so much for having me. I hear you say all that about me, and I think I'm going to own it. And it is my background. It is what I've done. And I think that all of us, and I will tell you, all of us suffer from that imposter syndrome. And from time to time, I think, oh, they talking about me? Oh, but the reality is that we have to own who we are. We have to own what we do. And a wise man once told me that I needed to really be able to learn how to toot my own horn, because if I didn't do it, nobody else would. And that wise man was my dad, who really influenced me. And he is the person that first created confidence in me and helped me get to the point where I learned to just go after my dreams. Go Confidently Coaching came about because my favorite quote is a quote by Henry David Thoreau, who my dad first introduced to me. And the quote is, go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined. And I think that many times we sit around and we think, oh, I could never do that. I could never go out after my dreams, or oh, someday I'll do that. And we put it off. But ultimately, confidence is a process of steps. And it's a process of taking chances. And it's a process of learning from the chances that we're taking. So that's how I've learned to own it. And some days, it may not look together, but there's always something that I find to be confident and strong about.
I absolutely love that that outlook in life, and the fact that your dad really helped mold you and, really allowed you to grow your confidence over the years. I know there's so many people out there that, may not have had that experience, right? So what advice do you have for people that may not have, grown up in a way that their confidence was really molded, and maybe they find themselves lacking or wondering how they can gain additional confidence?
So one of the biggest things that I tell my clients, and I do work with women, and this is why I'm so passionate about this, because in in settings like the mentoring programs that I worked with, or some of the individual coaching that I've done, a lot of women think, and again, the imposter syndrome runs rampantly among women,
True.
right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but you have to start to build some evidence, and there is always something that better than anybody else. And the biggest thing too is that we tend to judge ourselves to the outside of somebody else.
Mm,
And we tend to be so hard on ourselves, and we think, oh, I see all the bad, I see all the defeatedness, and I see the mistakes that I've made. And then we take all of those things that are wrong and we're measuring them against somebody else's success. So we're never going to measure up. So the first thing you have to do is really acknowledge who you are. What are your strengths? What are the things that you do very well that nobody else can do? And begin to really build that evidence and say, for instance, for me, I know that I am an extrovert. If I am going to measure up to someone who is an introvert and very detail oriented, I will never be able to measure up high on that scale. But if I just live in who I am and live in my sweet spot, in my genius zone, and begin to continue to build that, then I'm building evidence that, oh my gosh, I'm really good at speaking to people. I'm really good about walking into a room and finding someone to connect with. And the more that you do it, the more that you become better at it. And once you become better at what you're good at already, then you can start to work on some of the stuff that maybe you need improvement on, and maybe you need to really build on, and build on those need improvement areas that we all have. So that's
true.
very key.
I absolutely love that you said about measuring yourself against other people, right? So many times we suffer from comparitis, right? And I have talked on
Mm,
that before. And I absolutely love the quote that never measure your success with somebody else's ruler. And that really hit me the first time I heard that, because I am a recovering comparitis, right? I will be honest. That
right.
imposter syndrome that you speak of, I I felt it. I have heard from other women that felt it also and continue to feel it and struggle with it. And that's some of the things that we help them to grow through. I think it's really interesting that you say start with identifying the things that you do well. What are you a SME in? That subject matter expert. What things make you unique? So I absolutely love that. That is great. Take away and start with the positive and go from there, growing it.
Right. So there is, and actually, in the education field, there's an analogy that I learned, and I use it also when I'm working with women and in building confidence. So the analogy is that of a pool. I didn't learn to swim till I was 14. So I've had many close encounters with deep waters, and which could have gone the other direction. But for a long time, although I wanted to be in the pool, I was hesitant to do so because my skill level when it came to swimming was none. So
Okay.
when I learned to swim, one of the things that I learned is that the more that I learned a couple skills and I became good at those skills, the more that my confidence level raised. So, for instance, when I learned to kind of do the doggy paddle, I was like, oh, all right, I can sort of like hop around in a little deeper side, and I can, doggy paddle my way. And then the next I started to learn how to do some of the strokes. And the more that I did that or learned to breathe, again, my confidence level raised. And as my confidence level raised, the next step was my motivation also became a little tad higher than it was before. And the more we're motivated, the more that we can go out and gain some skill. And the more that we gain skill, the confidence level goes up. So it works in this little circle that works to our advantage. But, again, it's very important to stay centered in your lane. And I tell people, swim in your lane. Don't swim in somebody else's lane because it slows you down and it detracts from where you're going.
I love that. Stay in your lane. Know where you're good to go.
That's right. Stay in your lane. Don't merge.
No, I mean, those are great tips. Absolutely. And there's something that they're easy to implement, right? I mean, they're at least simple, right? I won't say easy because sometimes there is a vast difference between simple and easy, especially depending on where your mindset is. How much do you feel that mindset, coexists or goes hand in hand with confidence?
So mindset, I think, is everything. And I think that sometimes there are many people who don't believe in themselves who have been able to accomplish a lot and have been able to step up and do wonderful things. But the reality is that the mindset is the thing that really propels you. We have to be able to, and here's the caveat, right? If you're a recovering perfectionist like me, the mindset of perfection, being so good at something, right? And yes, it's great to be so good at something, but the reality is that the skill and the triumph comes from the failures and the mindset
Mhm.
of understanding that the failures are the teachers. The failures are the things that make us who we need to be. I think visiting back an analogy that my dad once gave me. We're Yankee fans, New Yorkers, and
Okay, I'm a Braves fan. We'll allow
okay,
it.
yeah, okay, there you go. But we I was trying to make a sales goal and I really wanted to I had this big audacious goal for my organization. We were expanding and I was looking to take us into new markets and developing business. And I wasn't going to hit it. And I was going to fail miserably, actually. And I was really down in the dumps and I was really upset. And I remember calling him and he's like, sweetie, Babe Ruth, he had a lot of home runs and he had some great records. But what he really was good at was striking out because it takes all of those strikeouts, right? It's a number game. It takes all of those strikeouts for you to actually hit the home runs. So if we fail and we decide I'm out, then what's going to happen is one, we're not going to practice, we're not going to get better, and two, we're never going to give ourselves the opportunity to point in that direction and say, hey, that's where I'm hitting the ball to. So it's important to keep showing up, and that mindset of knowing that what you believe actually has an impact on how you're going to do it. And I think that you have to be able to envision yourself. I know for myself, I did a triathlon. And most people are like, oh, you did a triathlon? Don't you? It was a sprint triathlon.
Oh, okay.
However, I really needed to, I didn't come in first by far, but my goal was to finish it, to be able to, and again, I'm not a strong swimmer, and I ended up having to do lessons. And my hashtag handsome hot husband was my trainer for this. And
Love that.
he would take me to the pool, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I can't ever do that. But I remember just having to vision myself swimming through the pool and going through it and going through the motions. And I would finish, and I would picture myself finishing the triathlon. And was it hard? Absolutely. I fell off my bike halfway through the race. And I remember when I was asked, do you want to keep going by one of the guys that come picks you up because you fall? I
Yeah.
remember just sitting there and I thought, I see myself finishing. I'm going to do it. And I didn't come in last and I finished it. And it was a great lesson for me. And I think that this is a lot of times when women get stuck, why women sometimes don't give themselves the benefits of moving forward because they never envision themselves doing what they think is out of their league. They never see themselves when they fall, they never see themselves picking themselves up and moving to the next step. So that's something to keep in mind for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. I absolutely love that story. I give you kudos for completing that. I mean, think of how many people, would just give up automatically just at the thought of that and wouldn't put in that hard work. Or if they fell off, right, they would not get back up and keep going.
I had to take a mental assessment. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Do the legs work? Okay, they do. Fine. I think I can move. All right, let me turn on some Elvis and I'm going to listen to my music while I go. So Elvis got me through.
There you go. Whatever it takes, by any
That's
means
right.
possible. I think all too often, especially ladies like us, they tend to think of failure as another F word, right?
Oh, yeah, for
And
sure.
it's truly not, right? I mean, it is one of those things that if you have the right mindset, it will allow you to grow. I know I have by and far learned far more from my failures than I have some of my success. Right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an area of growth. And I think that one of the things that I tell my clients, and especially as they're looking to whether change a career or maybe they're looking to achieve a goal, like they want to travel somewhere and they want to have this dream trip, be ready for your luggage to be lost. Be ready for the itinerary
Yeah.
to happen the way that you envision it. But picture what you want it to look like, right? And go after it. And sometimes enjoy the journey rather than the destination. And don't be afraid of that failure, but have an open mind. Have an open mind because the experience is the teacher.
No, that's awesome. I absolutely love that. So I work with a lot of people in the marketing industry, and sometimes when we talk about confidence, it's doing something like you and I are doing right now. Going live, public speaking, getting in front of people, whether it's especially now during the pandemic, virtually. Everybody at work, if they're in corporate America, are using Zoom, Teams, methods to, get in touch with each other. And, we're benefiting from that as well. So
Right.
what kind of advice do you have for, those individuals that are a little nervous, going live, either public speaking or virtually speaking, like, we're doing this evening?
So one of the biggest things, I started public speaking, believe it or not, at a very young age. My grandmother in El Salvador, she had a school, and I was always expected to be upfront and speak and be able to step up to the mic. So for me, I had a little learning, different learning from everybody else. But I know that public speaking comes very difficult to some people, and I think that for instance, going into a room full of people or even jumping on a video, we tend to be very self-critical. We tend to think, I hate the sound of my voice. Oh, I don't look that right. That angle. Oh, let me see which way I'm going to go. And all of that psychs us up. And of course, we get tongue-tied and we can't do it. I think the first thing you got to do is accept who you are. Look at yourself in the mirror and take a deep breath and say, okay, this is me. This is what I look like. This is me. I love me. And sometimes it's very hard to do that. It's very difficult to not have that inner critic or that person that is always telling you where you're deficient. Be the one who speaks up. However, if you really take a chance and you really say, you know what, I am going to pop on a video and I just had this experience, and I think that this is something that maybe I want to share with people. This is like a big light bulb moment. Focus on what you're doing for others and say, I know that I don't have my makeup together, but I'm going to jump on there. Your message and what you're having to say is more important. And most people are not thinking about what you look like. Most people are thinking about the value of what you're saying to them. The same thing when you're in a Teams meeting or when you're jumping in on Zoom. Many people, will shut off their video or, oh, this is terrible. And look, I've been there. I sometimes will shut my video off. But again, start with baby steps. Maybe you want to go ahead and there's the one side that, it's better than the other that will
Yeah.
make you feel more comfortable in front of the camera. Maybe you rush through a sentence, right? As you're speaking in front of people. Practice what you're having to say. And I will tell you something, if you really know your stuff, And this goes back to knowing what your strengths are. If you have that information, that content knowledge, if you have your genius zone, you're going to know what you're talking about. Now, if you are going to go and talk about, rocket scientists and you're not a rocket scientist, of course, it's going to get a little more difficult, but build in baby steps and maybe speak to friends. And this is the other big tip that I give people when it comes to mindset too. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. If you are surrounded by people who are critical of things, who are always the glass is half empty, these are not people who are lifting you up. These are not people who are encouraging you, who are supporting you, who are pushing you to be a better version of you. You also don't want to be encouraged or hear the advice from people who maybe haven't done what you're looking to do, right?
Yes.
If your friend sits in pajamas, munching all day and potato chips, that's not who you're going to get diet advice from, right?
Good point.
Find the people, and these are the people that can give you tips. These are the people that can, again, help you build your skills to improve your confidence, and therefore you're more motivated to do the things that are hard.
I love that. They say that you naturally become the average of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
So I think frequently, checking your circle is very important to make sure that you can truly achieve that goal that you're aiming for, or, just a level of energy and positivity that you want to surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. So, and the other thing, for instance, I've heard it said as well, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Amen.
And I know that I again think highly of myself sometimes, but I will evaluate the room. And if I am the smartest person, then why? Why is that? And why am I not being challenged? And why I'm not being, pushed to something else? And there's 2 types of motivations to improve ourselves. And that's your intrinsic motivation and your extrinsic motivation. So it's very key to understand those and know that which one is going to motivate you to go out and gain more skills in order to gain more confidence as well.
Oh, those are fantastic tips. So listen, Julie, you have a couple different things I want to make sure we touch on. So you are, of course, the founder and CEO of that Go Confidently Coaching. And so you have a website, the goconfidentlycoaching.com, correct?
That's correct. Yep, you got it.
All right. So if they want to go out, they can check that out. And, the second thing is you host a podcast. So talk to us a little bit about your podcast.
So the podcast is something that I always talked about doing. And I've been listening to podcasts for a long time, but it was one of those goals that, you say someday. And I was having a big birthday in April. And of course, because I love my birthday and it's something that I always enjoy celebrating. I'm not afraid to tell you I turned 50 and I already had this thing going that I was planning this party. And when my husband knew that we were going to still be in lockdown in Connecticut, he knew that I was going to sort of start not be happy. And being that I'm an extrovert, I needed some interaction. So he, for my birthday, as a gift, got me podcasting equipment. And he said, start a podcast now. And I thought, what? And I remember I thought, okay, it'll be delivered. Maybe I'll return it. And then I thought, hell no. I'm just going to take it. And I thought, what do I want to do? I don't want to be the person talking, but I want to share stories with women, of women, and some men, because I've had a couple guests, and we haven't released those episodes yet, but there's some episodes that are coming up with some amazing gentlemen, but there's some amazing women, because, listen, you don't have to be the Instagram star, or you don't have to be on Broadway, or be a corporate CEO, or in the front page news of a newspaper to have an amazing story and to be a confident person or to have struggled and overcome things. So I'm highlighting stories of women who I feel are what I call a confident dreamer, right? They had a dream or they had a
Mhm.
passion for something and they have gone out and gone after it and achieved it. And some of them, you know what? I've also had women who confidence is something they struggle with, but they keep showing up and they want to be better. And what they do, and these are stories that everyone can identify with. So I want to share those stories and highlight those conversations so that we can begin to see that we're all pretty much alike in many ways, right? Not all of us have this clean, spotless home. From time to time, there's going to be dirty laundry, and from time to time, there are going to be dishes, or from time to time, there's something, right? We're all the same. So this is what the podcast does. And who my handsome hot husband, hashtag, to his dismay that I call him this, but I've been calling him that on social media for a long time. I said, fine, if I'm going to do this podcast, you're my sidekick. So, and he's a producer because he knows about audio and whatnot. So he takes great care to make sure that we have an awesome audio. And I just love that. And it's been a labor of love for both of us. We're having a lot of fun doing it. So we're going to have you on the podcast, but listen up, everybody. And if you love it, give us a review so that I can continue to bring some of these wonderful guests for you.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. I cannot wait. Yeah, definitely go out there and check it out, guys. It is, go ahead and give us the name of your
So
podcast.
the podcast is called Casa de Confidence, and that's because I am DeLuca and my husband is Collins, and we've always said we live in Casa de Collins, and this is Casa de Confidence. So
That is perfect. Yeah, and I would love to take you up on that to be a
yeah,
guest down the line. That'd be
let's talk
fantastic.
about travel. That's my other passion. So we're going to have to
Mhm.
talk about that and have you on board to talk about that for
That would
sure.
be fantastic. You're amazing. So, listen,
Thank you.
something fun. I'm going to have to pick your brain because,
Okay.
well, spoiler alert, but I am working on launching my own podcast. So
Okay.
we're going to be
I have the guy for you. My husband is amazing. He has you need to talk to him because
you know a guy.
he's your guy. He can
Okay.
tell you what sound, what equipment, everything. I mean, he is I can't even tell you how fantastic he is. And it's not as, rocket science as some people tend to think. There's a lot of advice out there that's great, but I'm pretty partial that he's got that's a genius sound for him for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I spoke it into existence. Now it will happen. I
Yes.
appreciate
Let's set a date. Come on, let's do it. We'll
that.
walk you through it.
Awesome. Awesome. So listen, I know that, we have some of the audience checking us out tonight, have been watching or listening along. Really appreciate them. I hear that you have a special for my audience tonight.
Yes. So I know that many people in the audience, and you don't have to be a woman, but again, women, if speaking your language,
Yeah.
there's two things you can take advantage of. One, if you want to just figure out, like you're sitting home and you're like, well, I always had a dream, but I'm not even sure what I wanted to do because I'm not where I wanted to be with my life. Maybe we need to do an assessment of what your dreams are. So on my website, if you go to the front page, goconfidentlycoaching.com, you can download the dream assessment. The dream assessment will ask you some very poignant questions to, you know, where do you want to be here in these different areas of life, and where are you now, and how do you think we can craft a roadmap for you to get there? And I also have, especially and right now, many people are changing careers. Many people
Yes.
have been laid off, or maybe this is the right time that you want to launch a business or grow the current business that you have. You want to go from side hustle to full-time job or business. There's a personal branding assessment there and a personal branding guide, because anybody can buy, let's say, oils from anyone, or anybody can buy Tupperware from anyone. But the person that's going to actually be more successful is when you can create a relationship with someone, and you have to be able to know how to brand yourself as a person. And that's not something that we're necessarily taught. The rules are so different in the world right now, right? Because
We are.
especially now with work, we're working and living all intertwined. So how to brand yourself and how to create that personal brand, and then define how you want to use that personal brand to assist you in your building of a career or building of your business. So the personal branding guide is something that you can also, it's an ebook that you can download and you can go through and do the exercises. Now for both of them, they're done independently. However, because I know, Nicole, you have a lot of people that this may resonate with, and I just have loved talking to you. Anyone who wants to take advantage of a coaching call, a strategy call, I'll give them a free 1 hour coaching call. That's typically $175, but it's free to them if they mention your name. Okay, so and then they can either choose to do the dream assessment or the personal branding. They'll download it, and then we'll set up a call where we can speak, and I'll help them sort of, maybe we can fill it out together, or they can do it on their own, and then I can help guide them to what their next steps will be moving forward.
That is just, oh my goodness. I have to just pull this up here because that's just awesome that you are going to take care of my audience like that. I really appreciate that. So free coaching assessment call, normally $175 because you all are awesome and you are hanging in here with us tonight. Go ahead and check her out. Okay.
Yeah,
go confidentcoaching.com. You can take advantage of that. Listen, Julie, you are amazing. I am.
So
listen,
sweet.
we're
Thank
going to
you.
talk about the next time you want to come back because
Anytime.
I know you have a lot of other topics that we can dive into, and this has just been amazing. Is there anything, just parting words that we haven't talked about so far, you want to make sure the audience knows?
So one of the biggest things that I will tell your audience today is no matter where you are and who you are, there's a lot of things going on in the news. There's a lot of things that may be weighing on your heart. And that typically tends to take us away from being our best self. So center yourself and think about, who are you? Who do you want to be, and how do you want to show up your best? And believe that you already are a wonderful, amazing person, wonderfully made. And all you need to do is remember that and take baby steps to become better every day with what you're doing. Focus on the positive.
I love that. That just, it got me right there. So listen, I know so many of you out there have talked to me and you needed to hear that message. And I'm going to be honest, I did too. So thank you, Julie, for joining us this evening. It has truly been my pleasure. Absolutely.
Oh, I have loved talking to you. Thank you so much for letting me speak about something that I'm passionate about. And everyone, and go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Life is short. Let's live our dreams now.
Absolutely. Let's not waste any time. Julie, you have an amazing rest of your evening.
Thank
Guys,
you.
you have been checking this out. Absolutely. Give us some comments. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those in the comment section. We will be monitoring those so we can get any answers for you. And, make sure you take advantage of that 1 hour free coaching call, an assessment with Miss Julie. She will take good care of you, and you will save $175.
And Nicole, they don't have to, if they don't want to talk to me, they can just download the assessment, either the personal branding or the dream assessment. If they go into resources, they will see it there. But take advantage of it. I'm happy to talk to you.
Oh, those are fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, Nicole. You too.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye.